Why does it feel like the people you pour your heart into the most are the ones who leave you feeling completely empty? You give everything, your time, your energy, your attention. You're thoughtful, you're patient, loyal, doing everything you can to show them how much they matter to you, hoping that maybe this time it'll be enough, hoping that finally they will choose you back. But instead of feeling closer to them, they grow distant. They start to pull away. And the harder you try to hold on, the faster they seem to slip away. And you're left to wonder what you did wrong. Or worse, you start believing that something is wrong with you. Now, I know this specific pain because I lived it for 2 decades. I kept loving people who didn't choose me back, and every time they left, it felt like it was proof that I wasn't good enough. And so I gave more of myself, more effort, more love, hoping that finally it would be enough to change their mind. But no matter how much I gave, they always left, and I stayed empty. But the truth is, the more I gave, the more I lost of myself. And if I hadn't learned why this kept happening, I'd still be stuck in that cycle today, begging for love, trying harder, shrinking myself, and still ending up alone. Most people never figure this out. They just keep repeating the same heartbreak with different faces, telling themselves next time it'll be different. That's exactly what I did. But we both know it never is. Not until you understand what's really driving this pattern. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. Because when you finally see the truth behind why this keeps happening, you'll stop chasing love and actually open yourself up to finally being chosen. But before I explain why you keep chasing people who can't love you back, we need to talk about what's really driving it beneath the surface. Now, let me explain this pattern by using this jar. This jar represents your capacity to hold connection, safety, and worth. And this water right here, that's love, real, nourishing, sustaining love that helps you feel safe, it helps you feel grounded, like you matter. Now, we all have a threshold, which is this line right here. It's a baseline level of love that we need to feel okay. And when your jar falls below that line, your nervous system panics. You start to spiral, and you will do anything to bring this level back up. But my jar was always empty, not because I didn't want love, but because I didn't actually know how to feel worthy of it on my own. I didn't know how to feel safe or loved unless somebody else was filling my cup. Deep down, I believed that if someone could just love me enough, I'd finally be okay. I'd feel seen, I'd feel whole, I'd feel chosen. And that became my mission, to find someone else who would fill my jar. So I walked into every relationship already empty, and I'd hand over my jar hoping they would pour into me. And when they didn't, I didn't think, hey, maybe they can actually love me. I thought I must not be enough to be able to be loved. And so I gave more. I tried harder. I'd stay longer in situations that were absolutely painful and toxic to be in. Because the love that I was chasing, I wasn't doing it to feel good. It felt like I was doing it to survive. And when you're starving this much for love, you'll do anything to get another drop. So I overfunctioned. I bent to prove myself. I people-pleased. I wasn't just trying to love them. I was trying to fix myself through them, trying to earn my worth and fill my cup by being good enough to be chosen. But it didn't work, because no matter how much I gave, my jar still stayed empty. Until one day I realized I wasn't actually filling my jar by doing all of this. I was actually slowly draining it, unknowingly abandoning myself and neglecting myself every time I repeated this pattern. And here's the brutal truth that I had to face. As long as I was showing up empty, as long as I needed someone else to fill my jar, I was never actually going to feel loved. Because what I was doing wasn't seeking a connection, I was trying to survive. But love doesn't exist in survival mode. Because when you're that desperate for love, every relationship becomes a transaction. Will you finally give me what I need to feel whole if I am good enough for you? And when they don't or when they can't, it confirms your deepest fear, that you're simply not good enough. And it took me 2 decades to realize the problem was never that I wasn't good enough. The problem is I did not know how to pour into my own cup and put more of that critical water back into my jar. And here's the important part. This isn't just a relationship pattern of why you keep repeating it. It's actually a survival response. The ache of that empty jar and the panic of not knowing how to fill it isn't new. Somewhere along the way, your nervous system learned that love had to be earned, especially from people who couldn't or wouldn't give it freely. So you keep trying harder, and without even realizing, you start chasing people who feel just out of reach, reaching for the same kind of love that first left you feeling empty. The reason you're attracted to people who can't love you back is because your nervous system was programmed to associate survival, safety, and your worth with earning and seeking love from emotionally unavailable caregivers. So this isn't just a pattern, it's an echo from a time when you needed someone to fill your jar. Because when you're a kid and you need that love and connection to survive, you really can't fill your jar on your own. If you find right now that you chase love from people who can't give it to you, you most likely had caregivers who didn't or couldn't meet your own specific needs, despite them trying to or not. Something was missing for you back then, and that survival adapted model of connection gets stirred up every time you reach for a new romantic connection. Because what did you learn through experience for how love works? You got to be easy, you got to be quiet, you got to be good, you got to be lovable enough to be chosen, to get that attention. And that's why today you keep handing your empty jar to people who can't hold it, because you're still trying to rewrite that old pain, that old story. But let me be clear. You are not broken. This is something we all do when we have an unhealed story and trauma from our past. But currently, when you try to earn love from people who can't give love back to you, it won't heal your pain. It will just deepen it. And that's what I had to learn. It's not my job to get somebody else to fill my jar. It's my job to stop leaving myself empty. And that's exactly what breaks this pattern. Because when you stop abandoning yourself, you start to heal. You begin to understand what you need to feel safe and start to advocate and make choices that align with that. And this looks like you no longer saying yes, when really what would take care of you is to say no. It happens when you stop considering others at the sake of yourself. That's when you start to fill your jar, drip by drip. And when your jar is full, you actually stop chasing people. You stop trying to prove. You stop trying to earn and fear that they'll leave because you feel safe. You're no longer looking for somebody who desperate to fill your cup because you know you're whole. And when you're finally able to meet yourself, the people who you meet, they're not there to rescue you. They're not there because you're desperate for them. They're there to connect with you. Love isn't meant to rescue your emptiness. It's meant to meet your fullness. And I promise you from my own experience that that kind of love is worth the wait. But breaking the habit of handing over your empty jar to other people, that's just the first step. Because it's not enough to just stop chasing love. You have to learn how to meet your needs. Those needs that went unmet for so long. Because when you learn to meet your needs yourself, you stop trying to get scraps of love from people who can't give it. And you stop mistaking intensity for intimacy. And you're finally able to begin to experience what love is actually supposed to feel like. Safe, consistent, and nourishing. So in this next video right here, I'm going to show you exactly how to identify your core emotional needs so you stop chasing and you finally start choosing love that actually meets you. So don't waste time like I did and check it out right here.